Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
Absolute privilege to talk to our next guest. My teenage diary is filled with stories about her and her incredible adventures. She's the celebrated conservationist whose groundbreaking research of chimpanzees over 60 years ago changed the course of science. In her latest project, The Book of Hope, she has a call to action for us all to, quote, use the gift of our lives to make this a better world. Dr Jane Goodall, hello.
Well, hello there, and I hope you're feeling really good.
Well, looking at you and talking to you, absolutely. Your story just inspired me when I was a younger woman. You were such a young woman when you headed off to Tanzania to study the chimpanzees, that you had such crude living arrangements. Was it bravery or naivety? What was it that propelled you to take that journey?
Well, what compelled me was that when I was 10 years old, I'm speaking to you from the house where I grew up, where I have been since COVID prevented me from traveling. And I was here and I read the book about Tarzan, Dr. Dolittle, and I decided I would grow up, go to Africa, live with wild animals, and write books about them. There was no idea of being a scientist. So anyway, eventually I got there, I saved up money, met Louis Leakey, and amazingly, he gave me this opportunity to go and live with and learn from not just any animal, but chimpanzees, our closest living relatives. What an amazing journey that was.
And you've known chimpanzees for a long time in your life. And how much do they differ from us?
Well, if you look at their DNA, they differ only by just over 1%. They're our closest living relatives. And their non-verbal communication, kissing, embracing, holding hands, patting one another, swaggering, shaking the fist, using tools, using rocks as weapons, waging a kind of primitive war between neighboring communities, but also showing love, compassion, and altruism. That's how like us they are. But what you learn from that is, goodness, but we're different. I mean, we're talking. You're in Australia. I'm in the UK. We're talking. That's pretty amazing. If you were like me growing up before any of this began, I didn't even have television. And so, what I've learned from all of this is that we're a pretty amazing species. And it's pretty sad that we're destroying our planet, isn't it?
Mm.
Your book is all about hope. And I know at the moment it feels for many of us slightly hopeless. How do we turn that around?
Well, so many people are hopeless. This is why I began our youth program back in 1991, because so many young people, high school, university, had lost hope. And when I talked to them, they were apathetic, didn't seem to care, or they were angry, or they were depressed. And they said to me basically the same thing in different continents. We feel like this because you've compromised our future, which we have, right? But they said there's nothing we can do about it. And that's where I said, you're wrong. There is something. We still have a window of time. If we get together, if we take action, each one of us, then we can make a difference. And so that's when our Roots and Shoots program began. That's when, everything that I believe in was caused by this moment of, is it too late? No, it's not. But we have to get together and take action.
And optimistically, are things getting better climate-wise?
Awareness is getting better, much, much better. People are much more aware. More people are prepared to fight for the future, fight for the environment. And I think perhaps the most important thing is that young people all around the world are rising up and saying, we want a better future. We are going to demand change from governments, from big business. That's what I see as one of my reasons for hope. The young people who are so dedicated, passionate, and determined to make a difference.
Do you still have an opportunity to interact with chimpanzees? I know their different personalities spoke to you through all those years and you made friendships with them. Are you still in contact with a colony of chimps?
Well, the Jane Goodall Institute still works with the same community. The original ones that I knew so well are all gone except one, Gremlin, who's now the dominant female of the entire community. But all the others that I knew so well are no longer with us. They do live 60 years. And they teach us so much about what it is that we share, but ways in which we're different. Like before the pandemic, when I was confined to where you see me now, up in my house where I grew up as a child, and before that I was traveling 300 days a year around the world, but that included 2 visits to Gombe to visit. I usually didn't actually see the chimps. Sometimes I did, but at least to inspire the people, the scientists, the students, the field staff working there.
And
with the same.
Did you get to catch up with the chimps on a Zoom catch up like we're doing now? Did someone set that up for you? Like, can that happen? Is that technology? And second part to this question, if that happened, would they recognise you?
Well, as I say, there's only one left who would recognise me, because when I left Gombe in 1986 to try and raise awareness about what was happening around the planet, today, all the old individuals who I knew so well, like members of my family, they're no longer with us. The one chimpanzee, Gremlin, who I remember so well, she recognizes me when I go back. Absolutely. But the others, I no longer have any contact with them. But just going twice a year.
And you don't get on with her, though, that chimp. Is that right?
Well, every time I go and actually see her, she comes quite close, sits, looks into my eyes, and moves away. She knows who I am.
Right.
Would she recognise you on a Zoom? Do they have that ability?
They actually do, but we've never tried to do anything like that.
Yeah.
These chimps are wild and free, and we don't experiment with them. But yes, chimpanzees can recognise people and individual chimps on a Zoom.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good. And they can't throw the feces at you either. So
not like you do in here.
On the Zoom meeting, so that's a good thing.
Well, the book is called The Book of Hope, a survival guide for trying times. It's available now.
Yes.
What an honour to speak to you, Jane. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you. And, we do need hope, don't we? Because if we don't have hope, we sort of give up and do nothing and fall into apathy. That's the end of our species if we do that.
Sure.
We must have hope to take action to change the world before it's too late.
Don't give up. Dr. Jane Goodall, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.